What's up, guys? Today we're going to be cooking a pork tenderloin with a fig balsamic glaze and some roasted green beans and white potatoes.
Outside of the steak and on our post-workout.
All right, so I'm going to wash my potatoes. All right, so first what we're gonna do, if you have not yet, we're gonna take our pork tenderloin out and we're just gonna let it rest, let it start to get up towards room temperature, and I'm gonna head over and preheat the oven. All right, so we're gonna set our oven to 450 degrees, and then it's important, we wanna adjust the racks. We're gonna take the racks to the top position and the middle position. So I'm just gonna toss this guy up at the top, and then I'll have one in the middle as well. All right, so I'm gonna wash my potatoes. Once the potatoes are washed, we're gonna begin chopping them into about 1/2-inch cubes. All right, once the potatoes are chopped, I'm just gonna lightly oil a pan here. And then we're gonna toss the potatoes right on. So last thing before we throw the potatoes in, we're gonna take off our rosemary from the stem. I'm gonna chop a little bit of this up and we're gonna toss this on top of the potatoes. So I'm gonna take my finely chopped rosemary, we're gonna sprinkle it on the potatoes. And then we're just gonna finish them up with a little bit of salt and pepper. All right, so potatoes are ready to go. We're gonna throw them in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes at 450. All right, so potatoes are going in. On the top rack, we're gonna set a timer for 20 to 25 minutes. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our shallot, we're gonna chop it up, and we're gonna put that with about half of our rosemary. This will be for our fig sauce. So I'm just gonna peel this. We're gonna be using half of the shallot. So you can save the other half for another recipe at some point, but we're gonna use half a shallot and the other half of our rosemary. This is gonna get chopped up and will be used in our fig sauce. All right, now on to the pork tenderloin. So we're gonna go ample amounts of salt and pepper here. I want a lot of flavor, a lot of seasoning. I'm gonna get both sides. All right, so next we're gonna do is we're gonna take our pork tenderloin, we're gonna sear it on all sides in the pan. This pork tenderloin's a little bit longer, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it in half so that I can fit it into the pan, and then we'll throw it in the oven to finish. All right, so I've got my pan set up on medium to high heat. I'm gonna just drizzle a little olive oil in the pan, and we're gonna go pork in and we're gonna let it sear a couple minutes on each side. We want to get a nice brown coating on each side of the pork here. All right, so about halfway through our 20-minute timer, we're just gonna pull the potatoes out, give them a little toss. So I'm just gonna bring them over. Just gonna stir them up a little bit. And then we'll just toss them back in for the last 8 to 10 minutes. You wanna make sure you get the edges as well. Again, this is just gonna help kind of lock in all the juices and the flavor from the pork. All right, guys, so we're gonna grab a second cooking sheet. Now we're gonna place a little bit of olive oil. We're gonna toss our green beans on half of the sheet, and then we're gonna put our pork tenderloin on the other half. So we're gonna take our pork tenderloins and our green beans. They're gonna go on the middle rack, and we're gonna bake for 8 to 12 minutes. All right, so I just quickly rinsed out my pan. I'm gonna next make our fig sauce. So I'm gonna go a little bit of olive oil in the pan. We're gonna add in our chopped rosemary and our shallot. And we're gonna let that saute for a minute or two, and then we'll add in a few more ingredients. Next for the sauce, once our shallot has started to soften a little bit, we're gonna add in our balsamic vinegar. We're gonna go 5 tablespoons. We're gonna do 2 tablespoons of fig jam, and we're gonna do a half a tablespoon of our chicken stock. You know, a 1/4 cup of water. And for our chicken stock, we're gonna do about a half tablespoon. We're gonna now just kind of stir all this together, let everything kind of cook down. So once everything kind of boils down, we got a nice little simmer going. I'm just gonna turn the heat down a little bit, and we're just gonna keep stirring this just to have everything thicken up. So one way to know when your sauce is ready, if you take the backside of a spoon or your spatula and you drag it through, it should take some time for it to come back together. So the sauce is ready. The last step for the sauce, I'm just gonna put in a little dab of butter, let that melt in, and we're good to go. Really important, guys, when your pork comes out of the oven, place it on a cutting board, but make sure you let it rest 3 to 5 minutes. This is really important. The pork's gonna finish cooking, and it's gonna, again, seal in all those juices.